Hello and welcome back to Art Bytes. Today, during this video, we are going to be discussing the third element in our series on the visual elements. We are going to be discussing pattern. A pattern is any design in which lines, shapes, forms or colours are repeated. Patterns always have a motif, so you can see here we have already created a pattern. So here the motif which is the object which is repeated, are these blue and green squares. A motif can be repeated and arranged in a variety of different ways in order to create different types of patterns. In this video, we're going to be exploring some of the main different ways that you can arrange a motif and the main different types of patterns that will create. The first group of patterns are regular patterns. In regular patterns, the motif is repeated in a way that is really predictable. It could be exactly the same each time as it is in this video, or it could change in a way that is regularly repeated. One of the most common ways you'll see motifs repeated in a regular pattern is a full drop or a block repeat. This is the most basic way of creating a pattern, and it's where the motif is repeated in exactly the same way in horizontal and in vertical lines. The next way of making a repeat that is a regular pattern is a half drop or a brick repeat. Half drop patterns are made by dropping every second line of a motif down or along by half the height or length of the motif. You can see this pattern quite often in the walls of houses that are made with bricks, hence the name a brick pattern. This creates a pattern that has the consistency of a regular pattern, but also feels more varied than a standard block repeat. The other main group of patterns are irregular patterns. Now, irregular patterns are one in which the motif changes or the way in which it repeats is unpredictable. So the pattern we made right at the very start of this video, where I was dropping those squares down in front of the camera, that was an irregular pattern. Now, in an irregular pattern, the motif can change in any different way, shape or form. So here I've changed the size of my motif, I've changed the angle at which it sits, and I'm putting them down in a really unpredictable way. I'm trying to just spread them out. And irregular patterns are the patterns you'd most commonly find out in nature. So something like the petals of a flower would be an irregular pattern, or something as simple as your fingerprint, again, would be an irregular pattern because it repeats in an unpredictable manner. Thank you for joining us for our video on pattern this week. So remember, our two main groups are regular patterns, which are predictable, and irregular patterns, which are unpredictable. If you've enjoyed this video, please let me know in the comments below. Next week, we're looking at a different visual element, so to make sure you don't miss that, make sure you subscribe. And as always, thank you for watching.